In this region, which in the past was of no little significance, a large round mound of earth hinted at the existence of a hill fort beneath a farmland. The discovery of a gold torque of significant archaeological value attracted the attention of historians and archaeologists to this hill fort. Digging began decades later. The remains of a settlement that covered the entire hilltop were exposed, and the present museum was built. The structures uncovered in subsequent excavations provided information about the hill fort and the way of life of its inhabitants. The main rampart was found under the huge mound of earth. Built with rocks and soil, on some sides there are up to 4 consecutive ramparts with their respective moats, protecting and enclosing the hill fort. Of particular note are the remains of a tower near the entrance that may have been a watchtower. Beyond the ramparts, spacious terraces used for different purposes, including crops and livestock, are conserved. 2 entrances in the ramparts to the east and west determine the urban layout inside. There are signs of paving and drainage. A main road connected both entrances. This was intersected by another crossing. A walkway encircles the rampart. The dwellings, arranged in clusters that may have been family units, were located along these paths. Some have a circular layout with vegetation for roofing. Others are quadrangular, commonly with roofs consisting of tiles on a wooden structure. The bases and corners of the dwellings have white quartz stones to anchor and reinforce the foundations. Mud and straw, or payabarro as it's called here, was used since pre-Roman times, both in huts and other structures, such as hórreos, or raised granaries. Recent digs have revealed a large well in the hill fort used for storing water. It is located under the north rampart and therefore precedes it. They were found in a large part of the Croa and the Castro. Findings show that the site was inhabited as early as the Iron Age at least, although the exact moment of its first settlement is unknown. In addition to the stone structures, which give an architectural description of the hill fort, there are other material remains. Thanks to these fragments from the past, we can reconstruct the lifestyle of its inhabitants. This cowbell found here is proof of animal husbandry. Bones, animal teeth, traces on ceramics, and the presence of animal remains in the hill fort suggest a certain predominance of cattle, and, to a lesser extent, sheep, domestic pigs, and equines. Deer antlers and other elements prove that hunting, as in any other society, was very important. These lead weights are an indication that river fishing was practiced. Round and flat grinding stones were found, as well as metal parts of farming tools. Wheat, oats, barley, etc. Seed and pollen remains indicate an essentially grain-based agriculture. This was supplemented with bean, cabbage, and turnip crops, and the gathering of wild fruits. Crucibles, mounds like this one, and slags found in the digs indicate the metal objects found in the hill fort were made on site. This heel axe with 4 rings, the only one of its kind, or this small antenna dagger are particularly interesting. Knives for carving wood, metal handles, etc. Other metal pieces bear witness to the different productive activities. The bronze needles found, along with spindle whorls and wooden weights, are vestiges of the textile activity in the hill fort. This pan from a local workshop is typical of Castro culture. Ceramic remains are the most plentiful. They come in different shapes and some are highly decorated, with incisions, stampings or appliques. Fine ceramics made in molds like terra sigillata pieces indicate a certain socio-economic level and trade with other regions. A type of late pottery has been found that can be classified as dating from the 4th to the 6th century AD. Amphorae like this one were used to transport products introduced by the Romans, such as wine or oil, to the hill fort. From the 1st century AD onwards, trade with other parts of the Roman Empire grew. A few kilometers from the hill fort, Lucus Augusti, the important capital of Galaetia, was founded in the 1st century BC. With the establishment of Romanization, the hill forts gradually became the minority compared to rural villages and towns. Coins found further corroborate trading activities. Bronze simises, denarii, solidus aureus. The mintage of each coin indicates his provenance. Coins from the 3rd and 4th centuries AD predominate. Remnants of glass have been preserved. They are fragments of bottles, jugs, glasses, goblets, and lamps. Blowing or molding techniques were used to make them. Their use became widespread after the 1st century. Life in the hill fort also allowed time for games. This tabula la trunculata was a strategy board game. Leisure and social life. This bronze authisa fibula brooch was used to fasten garments. Ornamental pieces and clothing accessories were found. Some are typical of a Castro tradition, such as torques or earrings. Others are more closely associated with the Romans. Civilian dress, military garments too. Fragments of glass lamps used for illumination were found. This bronze tube with wool inside was possibly the wick of a lamp. Regarding religion, we assume it was a combination of indigenous rites and Roman worship. This votive axe is a ritual piece. It was found in a pre-Roman level during the excavation of the well. It is decorated with images of a ram, a bull, and a wild boar, animals slaughtered for ritual purposes. There is a torque on the blade of the axe. Despite the above mentioned, we don't know everything about the Viladonga hill fort. We don't know why there is a cave next to the east entrance, or the location of a necropolis where the dead were buried. There are still areas left to dig. Archaeological, research and cataloguing work continues. Viladonga Hill Fort.